everybody, it's Lisa here. So this is the second video of the three-part video series about bloating and digestion issues in recovery. And in the first video, we talked about why you're having these issues with bloating and digestion. And today is the second video where we will talk about the key steps you must take to overcome these symptoms. And in the third video that will be up next week, I'm also going to share with you some things you can do to deal with the symptoms. And also, if you want to know more about recovery, then please read my book. And here I explain everything step by step, how to go through recovery and everything I did to get to my full recovery. And here I have a whole chapter dedicated to recovery symptoms and what to expect and how to deal with them. So definitely check out my book as well. And also, before we start with the video, I want to say that I don't recommend you to recover alone, and always seek medical and professional advice. And this video is just for general information purposes only, and what is right for you and what you should do in your recovery is something that you have to discuss with your doctor. But now let's start talking about the key steps you should take in order to overcome the bloating and digestion issues in recovery. So the first step is definitely to eat enough food. One of the primary reasons why people fail to overcome their issues with bloating and digestion is because they're not getting enough calories to begin with. Because if you have been through an eating disorder, been through dieting and restriction, then this has done a lot of damage to your body. And as we talked about in the last video of this series, that restriction really slows down your digestion. Also, you can have stomach muscle atrophy. With restriction, you have lost digestive enzymes and healthy gut bacteria, and all of this is needed for a healthy digestion. Your body has been through a form of starvation, and it needs enough fuel and calories to overcome it. In order to heal your digestion, you firstly have to give your body enough fuel so it has the energy in order to reverse the damage. Your body is not gonna be able to heal itself no matter how many nutritious foods you are giving to your body. Your primary nutrition the body needs in recovery is for calories, and to make sure you are eating enough, I recommend temporarily counting your calories, eating minimum 2,500 to 3,500 calories per day, and keep in mind these are just minimums. They are not maximums, and most people eat more and they need more calories than that. And to know more about calories and how much to eat in recovery, I'm gonna link a blog post down in the description box where you can read more about this. And the second step is to get enough rest. And this means taking a break from exercise, but also sleeping more and just having more rest and relaxation time. And this ties also into the first point I made about eating enough, because if you start to eat more, but then you spend those calories in order to fuel the exercise, and you still keep on being highly active, then your body can't put those calories towards healing your body or your digestion. And exercising won't be healthy for you if you are in an unhealthy state. So in a context of an eating disorder and all the damage it has already caused to your body, exercising will just add more stress to your already stressed out system. And please see also my recent video about exercising where I talk more about this. And I personally saw so much improvement in reduced bloating after I completely stopped exercising in my recovery. Because for a long time in my recovery, I wasn't aware that exercising is also a form of purging and compensating calories. And I really thought that I'm just being healthy if I keep on exercising. But rather, exercising just kept me stuck in being quasi-recovery and not being able to fully recover and fully overcome my symptoms with bloating and digestion. But after I fully stopped exercising, I saw so much improvement, not only just seeing the reduced bloating and the digestive issues, but also, for example, normalizing my hunger cues. And by resting more, I also mean sleeping more and having a healthy sleep schedule, because sleep really is our body's primary restoration time. And if you don't get enough sleep and regular sleep, then it's absolutely gonna interfere with your recovery. Our body has something called the circadian rhythm that affects our energy levels, our hunger cues, our metabolism, and also our digestion. And if this circadian rhythm is out of whack, then your body is not able to perform optimally. And to learn more about the sleep and the circadian rhythm and how how it affects your recovery and everything I recommend, I'm gonna link another blog post down in the description. Next, you need to be consistent in your recovery. And this goes without saying, but it's worth repeating. To see lasting improvement with your digestion, you must stop all restriction, all compensating calories, and also stop going back and forth with recovery and then relapsing. And firstly, recovery is full of ups and downs, and recovery is not a straight line. And no recovery is perfect. And I had so many setbacks in my recovery as well. But in order to get to my full recovery, I had to come to a point where all the restriction, all the compensation, and all the relapses fully stopped. Because otherwise, I wouldn't be able to be fully recovered right now. And I am saying all of this because very often people ask me like why they're still having symptoms with their bloating and digestion, despite being maybe in recovery for several years. But it's not the length of time that you have been in recovery that really matters. But what really matters is that what you have done with that time. Because even if you have been in recovery for maybe several years, but you still end up restricting and compensating maybe here and there, or maybe you keep relapsing every now and then your body can't fully heal your digestion and overcome the bloating. Because if you're constantly going back and forth with relapses in your recovery, then it really confuses your body even more. And this way your body won't feel safe enough to fully come out of the starvation mode and to speed up your digestion, because your behaviors still indicate that there is some kind of threat to your survival. There is still a lack of food in your environment and there is still a lot of stress going on. So what matters most is the consistency in your recovery. Consistency is needed in order to see lasting results and solid improvement. So the next thing that is very important for your body to heal your digestion is regular eating. Many people make the mistake that maybe they start to eat more calories, but maybe they get most of the calories only in one part of the day, for example during the nighttime. And this is not good for the consistency that we talked about in the last point. For your body to feel safe enough to recover and speed up your digestion, you must show your body that there is an abundance of food coming in. Not just in a form of increased calories, but the food is also coming in regularly and consistently throughout the day. So this means eating at least 3 proper meals per day: breakfast, lunch and dinner, and also having snacks in between your meals. So you will be eating 2 to 3 snacks per day as well. And this will mean that you will be eating something in every 2 to 3 hours. And in the last video we also talked about how starvation really messes up your hunger cues, and this is also why many people can't just like eat intuitively in recovery. Many people don't feel their normal hunger cues in recovery because the starvation has messed up their hunger hormones, and the starvation also slows down your digestion. And this is why many people can't rely on their hunger cues to guide them to eat enough, but for a period of time they actually have to eat regularly and they have to eat mechanically so they can heal their digestion and also heal their hunger cues. Even when you're not physically hungry, but you still have many starvation symptoms like being underweight, having constant food obsession, maybe you have lost your period, feeling cold all the time, or feeling maybe physically full but mentally still very hungry. And there are so many other starvation symptoms like that. And all of these symptoms indicate that, yeah, you have to keep on eating regularly, keep on eating mechanically, because even though you're not like physically hungry, but all of these symptoms show that, yeah, you are still malnourished and you still need more food. And also, if you already struggle with the bloating and digestion issues in recovery, then it's much better actually for your digestion to eat regularly, and so you can spread out the food throughout the day more evenly compared to maybe just having like a few big meals in one go. And regular eating actually helps to stimulate your digestion, so there is always new food coming in that pushes the old food out, and it really helps to stimulate the gastric emptying. Next, I recommend you to reduce high fiber, high water and low calorie foods, and this means reduce eating so much like fruits and and vegetables and just generally like so much whole foods. Because when you already come from an eating disorder, as we have talked about, your digestion is already slowed down. It's weaker thanks to the starvation your body has been through, and it's also damaged because of the eating disorder behaviors like self-induced vomiting or using laxatives. Because when your body is already in this compromised state and the digestion is slower, the digestion is in general like weaker, then it's just gonna add more issues to your bloating and the digestion. Because eating lots of whole foods will take much more time and energy for your body to digest and to be utilized for fuel. And if it takes much more longer to digest, but your digestion is already slowed down thanks to the restriction you have been through, then the food is just gonna stay in your digestive tract for a much longer time. And this can result in you feeling more bloated, also feeling more stomach pain, gas, constipation and diarrhea. And plus, if the food is gonna take much longer to digest, and generally the high fiber like whole foods are much lower in calories, you have to eat so much more volume of them in order to get enough calories for your recovery. And this can be a recipe for extreme discomfort. So in recovery, rather focus on eating more calorie dense foods and also processed foods. And processed foods are great for recovery because they're already pre-processed, so it's like much easier for your digestion. So it takes much less energy for your body to break down those foods for the fuel, and also those foods are gonna be much quicker to digest as well. And don't get me wrong, eating whole foods, eating like fruits and vegetables is healthy and you can still eat them in your recovery, but I recommend like having them more as a side dish and not kind of like the main meal, and especially in a period when you're already experiencing like lots of issues with your bloating and digestion. And in general, like just in recovery, focus on the calorie dense foods and eating more high carb and also high fat foods. Things like oils, avocado, butter, nut butter, nuts and seeds, full fat dairy products, ice cream, eggs, meats. Also the high carb foods like white bread, white rice and pasta. And again, I recommend you to eat the white version of stuff because the whole grain products can be much harder for your digestion. Also things like potatoes, pastry, cereal, crackers, chocolate, bananas, dates, dried fruit. And these are just some of the examples, and as always you can eat whatever you want, but just to give you some ideas. And here also watch my video about 8 tips to restore your metabolism in eating disorder recovery, and also watch my video 5 reasons not to worry about the unhealthy eating in recovery. And also, since we're already talking about the food, like what to avoid or minimize, then also be aware of the artificial sweeteners, for example in fizzy drinks or chewing gums, because those can also contribute to bloating, and it's just something to be aware of. And next thing to be aware of is to not overdrink water, because overhydration can be a real problem when people are forcing themselves to drink tons of water, because somewhere somebody said that they have to drink like many liters of water per day, but actually it can be simply too much for your body and it can contribute to the bloating and digestion issues, because drinking too much water dilutes our electrolytes, and this prevents our cells from working properly. Your kidneys must work overdrive in order to filter out all the excess water, which really taxes your adrenal glands. And this means that you are putting your body in a state of stress that can lead to symptoms of anxiety and even adrenal fatigue. And drinking too much water also dilutes your stomach acids, which makes it harder for your stomach to break down foods. And too much water actually slows down your metabolism, because all the excess water is gonna dilute your sodium and glucose levels, and then it's gonna be harder for your body to produce energy. Plus, the water is gonna have a very cooling effect for your body, and if you're already in eating disorder recovery, having low metabolism and low digestion and always feeling cold and tired, then this cooling effect will rather slow down your healing even further. So what I recommend is to drink when thirsty, and also what I recommend is making sure that you don't pee clear, and it's actually normal and healthy if your pee is yellow. And also take note that you're not going to the bathroom like every hour, and what would be more normal would be to go to bathroom maybe 6 or 7 times per day. So this is another way you can indicate that you are not overdoing it with water. And also it can be good if your drink is also containing some calories, so you don't get full with just liquid, but actually it has calories. So you can drink calorie dense smoothies or shakes or maybe juices, add some sugar to your tea or full fat cream to your coffee. And if you drink your water, then rather sip it slowly and don't just like gulp it down in one go, so you're not gonna like stress out your kidneys. And the last step is to also focus on reducing stress. In the first video I already talked about how being in a state of chronic stress takes a huge toll on your digestion, because when you are in a state of stress and in the fight and flight mode, then your body produces stress hormones that also suppress your digestion. And with recovery, as you start to stop all restriction, you start to eat more, rest more, sleep more, you take a break from exercise, you start to get plenty of carbs and fats, then this already reduces so much stress for your body. But also look into the other aspects of recovery and of your life as well. For example, mental recovery is such a huge part of achieving full recovery. Making peace with your body and accepting your body can be a huge stress relief. So it's so important to work on the mental side of recovery as well, because so much stress can come from that. And also take a look in your current environment, because what you are constantly surrounded by can absolutely add to your stress levels. For example, being at the job you hate, or maybe being in a very toxic relationship. And all of this contributes to the stress levels, and it doesn't help with healing your digestion. And also start to add in practices that help with reducing stress. For example, implementing some self-care practices like having a calming night routine, or journaling, or taking a bubble bath, or maybe developing some positive coping skills like with meditation or some breathing exercises or mindfulness practices, or doing things that bring you joy like engaging in your hobbies, maybe painting, singing, doing crafts, reading a book, or meeting with your friends. So definitely add in practices that help you to cope with stress, but also bring more joy and pleasure into your life. So these are all the key steps that help you to recover and overcome the bloating and digestion issues. And also, if you want to know more, then please read my book. Here is step by step everything I did to fully recover from my eating disorder. And as I said before, here is a whole chapter dedicated to recovery symptoms and how to deal with them, how to overcome them. So please read my book as well. So this is it for today's video. I really hope you liked it, you found it helpful, and also please give it a like and be sure to subscribe to my channel, and I'm gonna see you in the next video. Bye.